Alright, I want to start this by saying that I am not retiring my band history videos, and I'm still going to make the Black Sabbath video, but I thought it would be a nice change to make a video that wasn't a band history video for once, so this is it. I've been seeing a debate that's been flying around the internet for like 2 years, that is, who would win, a billion lions or all 1025 of Pokemon? And, I did a whole bunch of unnecessary research to settle this once and for all, because I'm tired of hearing people fight over it. So everything I say in this video is 100% right, and you can't deny it. So, basically, the whole question being asked here is, how would each other win? Because lions would absolutely get ripped apart by Pokemon, but a billion lions? That's a lot of lions. A billion divided by 1,000 is 1 million, which means that there are 1 million times more lions than Pokemon. I'm gonna go about this 3 ways, and one of them is going with the lore standpoint. The lore standpoint means that any Pokemon that is said doing something that could kill another Pokemon, then it could probably defeat a lion, if that makes sense. I probably just said nothing in that sentence. Alright, so to make what I just said make sense, Arceus, for example, he is a creator deity, a god in the Pokemon universe. He could literally, in theory, just snap his toes, and then the lions would be erased from existence. Vileplume could probably kill a couple lions with its foul odor. Hippopotas and Hippowdon could probably just drown them in sand. Magcargo could melt them since it's pure lava. It's just like, there's way too many possibilities for them to lose, because multiple lions could also go at multiple Pokemon at once, which means that they could probably also go against multiple dangerous ones at once. Like, a couple lions could go after Gallade and Gardevoir. One of them has swords for hands, and the other one can spawn black holes out of nowhere. Or, Zorua and Zoroark could disguise themselves as a normal lion and just start killing lions. We should also probably take into account gimmick Pokemon. Wobbuffet. Wobbuffet is one of the worst Pokemon that you can get into battle with. It's probably worse than fighting with a legendary. It has the move Destiny Bond, which means that if it dies, then the thing that it's fighting also dies. Shuckle has extremely high defenses, which probably means that the lion would tire itself out before even making a dent in its shell. Ditto can just transform into Arceus itself, so now there's 2 gods of the Pokemon universe, and Smeargle can literally learn every single move, which means that he could probably learn a move which knocks out a lion immediately. I've talked about a lot of Pokemon that can probably take down a lion and probably 100 lions on its own, but then there's the other end of the spectrum, completely useless Pokemon that would definitely have no trouble getting killed by a lion. Ledion, Sunflora, and don't even get me started on baby Pokemon. So, the lore standpoint might be a good way to look at it, but since there's so many underpowered Pokemon, I'm very pessimistic. Alright, the second way I want to look at this is video game logic. Video game logic basically means that both Pokemon and the lions have move sets and also have limited uses of their moves, just like in the games. Now, like I mentioned earlier with Wobbuffet, Wobbuffet can learn the move Destiny Bond, which means, like I said earlier, that if Wobbuffet faints, so does the opponent. And in every single game, Destiny Bond only has power points of 5, which means that it can only be used 5 times until it can never be used again. Another move that would absolutely destroy lions is Dynamax Cannon. Dynamax Cannon is another move that can only be used 5 times, but is definitely worth it in battle, just because of how it is basically a free win. In my playthrough of Sword and Shield, I had an Eternatus on my team after I beat the game, and safe to say, I never ever removed it because of Dynamax Cannon. Dynamax Cannon can basically kill any opponent in one hit as long as that opponent is not a type that Dragon is weak to. I remember rematching Melanie, and Melanie's rematch team has a Frostmoth on it. I don't remember if her original team had a Frostmoth on it, I think it was just a Snom. But when I tried to KO the Frostmoth with Dynamax Cannon, it ended up on like 1 or 2 HP just because Ice is strong against Dragon. But then that raises a whole other question, like, what type would the lions be? Could we just assume that these lions are just an unfiery Pyroar? And in that case, I guess they would just be normal type. And what if each Pokemon had at least 2 special moves that increase their stats? As many of you probably know, Swords Dance is a move that can increase the attack stat of a Pokemon. And if we assumed that every single Pokemon that could learn Swords Dance had Swords Dance in their moveset, that means if they used it a solid amount of times, that means that even if they were weaker than the lions before they used Swords Dance, they could be stronger than them after they used it. Now, going back to what I said earlier about what the lion's type could possibly be, I'm going to go with normal. It seems like the most worthy type because it is just a normal animal, like Ursaring, or Snorlax, or Pyroar for some reason. But it is basically just a normal lion with a mane made of fire. Also, normal can sometimes extend to the beast type, like Regigigas. Regigigas isn't exactly a beast, but it is a monster of sorts. In the Pokédex currently, there are only 73 fighting types. That is so much less than I thought. Meaning that if each fighting type Pokemon went into a battle with the lions with no prior stat buffs, that means that there could theoretically still be 999,999,927 lions left. However, let's take in every other type except for fighting and ghost into account. So we divide that by 2, and then we subtract it from all the lines. There would still be 999,999,510 lions left. So that did absolutely nothing. I really didn't want to say it, but I think the Pokemon are cooked. Because they are not even making a dent in the lions' numbers. However, to prove it all, I still have one more criteria. And that is Dex entries. Some Dex entries are flat out insane. Let's look at Macargo's Dex entry. It says that Macargo's body temperature is approximately 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Water is vaporized on contact. If this Pokemon is caught in the raindrops instantly turn into steam, cloaking the area into a thick fog. Macargo is 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That is 8,000 degrees hotter than the surface of the sun. Lava, or magma, funnily enough, is literally 8,000 degrees cooler than the surface of the sun, at 2,000 degrees. One of Victorybell's Dex entries says it lures prey with the sweet aroma of honey. Swallowed whole, the prey is melted in a day, bones and all. So this thing, theoretically, could swallow a whole bunch of lions, but like Chomper from PvZ2, it would probably take a lot of time before it could actually eat another lion, which gives the lions time to kill it. One of Annihilape's Dex entries says, when its anger rose beyond a critical point, this Pokemon gained power that is unfettered by the limits of its physical body. This monkey got so mad that it literally died. So you could probably imagine how many lions are going to die because this thing got so angry that it died. One of Gengar's Dex entries said, should you feel yourself attacked by a sudden chill, it is evidence of an approaching Gengar. There's no escaping it. Give up. Just give up. The lions are done. One of Mimikyu's Dex entries says there was a scientist who peeked under Mimikyu's old rag in the name of research. The scientist died of a mysterious disease. This could theoretically mean that Mimikyu could just reveal its true self to a whole bunch of lions, and they would all die. Iron Jugulus's Dex entry says it resembles a certain Pokemon introduced in a paranormal magazine, described as the offspring of a Hydreigon that fell in love with a robot. If Iron Jugulus told that story to a lion, they would definitely die. Okay, I'm sorry. That was a joke. I thought that would be funny. Beware's Dex entry said, this Pokemon has the habit of hugging its companions. Many trainers have left this world after their spines were squashed by their hug. And after you realize how big Beware is, he could probably take in multiple lions at once and then break their spine. One of Guzzlord's Dex entries says it has gobbled mountains and swallowed whole buildings, according to reports. And according to reports, probably meant that he was literally seen gobbling down mountains and buildings. He could just scrape his face on the ground and probably swallow thousands of lions. One of Raichu's Dex entries says its electric charges can reach even 100,000 volts. Careless contact can even cause an Indian elephant to faint. You could probably evaporate if you had any more volts in you. One of Gourgeist's Dex entries says, singing in eerie voices, they wander town streets on the night of the new moon. Anyone who hears the song is cursed. So it could curse every single lion into just giving up and retreating. Those are all of the Dex entries that I feel like could probably prove that the Pokemon would win. So we are down to the decision. Who would win, lions or Pokemon? After all this discussion and hard thinking, I think that since they would be good in battle and how large the number is, the lions absolutely win. Now, I have settled this debate once and for all.